Naked Shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Iggy Garcia here. It's good to be here. I hope you can stick with me here for the next hour or so. I have a special guest tonight. Dani Tolkendorf will be with me today. She'll be on the air here shortly. But before that, we're going to start like we usually start. We're going to do our little ceremony, do our little ritual, just to kind of get things going for us, kind of put us in the frame of mind and the mood. So I'm going to light a candle. Give thanks to the ancestors for all that they do for us and all that they've done for us. Give thanks to Great Spirit. Thank you, Great Spirit, for allowing us to have this beautiful day. Another day to explore and to experiment, complete, finish from the other days, and just be able to be part of something magical and something spiritual. So I rise and I lift this candle, and I give thanks to Papa Gino, Mama Rosa, Grandma, Grandpas, all those who came before me, all those who set the groundwork. Thank you. All right, so I also want to light a little sage to kind of get us in the mood to kind of clear some of this energy. If you're feeling a little bit tight, a little tightness in your body today, need a little energy, move a little bit of that negativity out. Just kind of cleansing, clearing. Cleanse everybody and clear everybody if they want. Yeah, it feels good. Smells great. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing us to have this space, this format, this platform to do this show, to share, and to be part of this this amazing, beautiful journey we call life. Some days it can be challenging, and some days it can be very beautiful. It can be one of those things that you just can just kind of ride and enjoy. So, you know, we're here and we're moving along. And so I want to take a second just to kind of say, just have everybody just take a deep breath, just and exhale and just let it go, just relaxing, releasing, letting go. Yeah, just feel that energy. Just feel that. Yeah. Sometimes we forget to take those deep breaths. Sometimes we forget to, just take a moment for ourselves. So tonight we're going to be doing an interview. We're going to be talking to one of my friends who works in the metaphysical community, the holistic community. She kind of works in the background. She says that she's shy. She says that she doesn't really like to talk, but she has her own little podcasts that she does on her Facebook page, and she shares her thoughts, her children, and the things she does, and sometimes some of the things that she creates and makes, which is pretty cool and pretty fun to watch. I'm always fascinated by people who are able to create things out of nature, Mother Nature, and be able to create the beautiful bounty and make that and reconstruct it into the things that are useful, like make soaps, salves, and all kinds of different things. And I had a friend, her name was Maggie Harden. Some of you guys know Maggie Harden, and she was kind of on the same level, and she kind of did things like that. So, and I want to welcome Dani.
Hello, Iggy.
To the show. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you could be here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking about other people in the community who are no longer with us, who created stuff in the same fashion that you do with the salves and the soaps and the different things, and how that what I was getting to is how we transition from one elder group into the next group, and we just kind of, the next person steps in and takes over and keeps some of those traditions, and not even really knowing these people, but they just kind of, the universe just kind of just ushers them in. Okay.
Yeah. It aligns it and
Yeah.
just collaborates that kind of transition of just carrying the tradition of good plant medicine and holistic healing on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm glad that you decided to come on. I know that I was watching your podcast earlier with your kids there, your Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You said you're kind of shy. So this is like talking to a friend, just having a good time and relaxing. So
absolutely.
It's just hanging out. But I wanted to bring Dani onto the show because I really like the things that she does and things she talks about, especially her website. I also want to promote what is Iris and Oak is your company that you created. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who Dani is, and just kind of tell us a little bit of who you are and what's on whatever you want to share with us.
Oh, well, that's probably like my biggest character flaw is talking about myself. Believe it or not.
All right.
I am a mother of 6, but I'd like to just say I'm a mother of many because I always have more children over in my home. Mm-hmm. Children are my biggest passion. I love working with them. It's our future, quite literally, and just a huge believer and just creating community, and it takes a village kind of concept, mm-hmm. and working together with our community. I do a lot of advocacy, but I do so very silently. So I've done work with human trafficking victims, recovering addicts. I do life coaching, crisis coaching. 3:00 in the morning, I'm having an issue and I'm up. I don't think I ever sleep. Mm-hmm. Okay. I run, meditation groups, yoga, and a lot of healing. And I'm very passionate about just the simplicity in living life, in collaboration with, our Mother Earth. Mm-hmm. I feel that connection is very pure and very, very important. I think that it connects us deeply. When we are connected with the earth, we are able to really deeply and compassionately connect with the world around us, and all beings. Yes. So, I'm a child lover, earth mother, and people lover.
Awesome. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When did you know that you were the person you're describing? Was this something that just kind of happened, or is this something that progressively occurred, or just boom, you just knew?
The person that I am today, I like to say that I feel like I'm living my inner child every day. Mm-hmm. She's never gone away. I've felt this feeling in my heart and my soul my entire life, and connection, with all things and all beings, and just having that kind of passion and fire to be out in the world and be a helper and a healer.
Yeah. And so your kids too, they kind of, they work with you a little bit. They help you a little bit. They're your gold mine, I guess, is the best way. They're your loves of your life, because you share with them. You mm-hmm. share all the time. So they kind of on the footsteps too. They learning as well, or
yes, they are learning as well. I actually had a parent teacher conference for, my 6-year-old, and she's in mm-hmm. first grade, and her teacher was talking about, they started doing yoga, and she was like, we were doing yoga, and she was doing this meditation thing, calming everybody down and talking about, raising their energy and vibrations. Awesome. And, and it's shocking to adults to see that in little people, but for me, I think it's just absolutely beautiful. And my children they're like, my little co-operators and my helpers.
Awesome.
Do everything with me. So
yeah, it's cool when your kids are involved and they learn. And my kids are all grown now, but mm-hmm. whatever you teach them, they'll come back. If you forget to behave a certain way, they'll remind you. if they haven't done that already.
Yes, that's my kids do that quite frequently. We're always calling each other out, on our slips, and that is another thing that's shocking to many people. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, did they really talk about your reaction? Did they really call it out? And do you let them do that? And I'm like, absolutely. Because, if I'm going to hold them accountable, I need to be held accountable too. So they're very good at doing that. Sure.
So what have you been doing since we've been down in this lockdown? What's your life been like?
Truly my life has been great. Mm-hmm. we got into beekeeping and trying to, start a little permaculture in our yard,
Awesome.
exploring, just really grounding and centering with
Mm-hmm.
who we are,
Mm-hmm.
and embracing that every day. It was an interesting transition, but I think for my children and I, it's easy because not much has really changed in the way that we live.
Okay.
We still go out and make our own bread, and and we like to cook at home, and we really like to be close and spend time together. And so for me, I've actually really enjoyed the time that I've had to be more closely connected with my kids.
Yeah, and they kind of bring a little entourage too, along with them, their friends, especially when they come to drum circles and stuff. So it's always
Yes.
cool to watch. So it's always a pleasure to see your family there and
Thank you.
fill in that circle and drumming along with us. So I really appreciate that. So I know that we're going through a lot of different things right now in the world, and it was very stressful for a while for a lot of people. And I want to kind of rephrase that, but it's still a little stressful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, they're kind of coming out of this energy now. There's a shift. You can feel the shifts happening.
Oh yeah.
And it's happening very quickly and very fast. And I don't see the panic as much as I did maybe 6 months ago. And I'm starting to see life, maybe because spring's coming. Who knows? Yeah. But your observations of this world, what do you think?
I have so many different thoughts. Like you said,
what's important to Dani? What's important to know?
What's really important for me to know, what I see with this world is that, I think that we become so consumed with what I feel that we're being force fed so much trauma and fear and panic. And this media, one of my biggest things in my house is, we don't have access to public television or the news. It's against a rule in my home.
Okay.
It was a difficult thing to even explain to my daughter's teacher for an assignment. And it was like, no news is allowed in my home.
Yeah.
Because it does induce fear, and it does induce that fight or flight mode in your brain. I feel that we become topic focused. And, we go from one topic, it's red, it's blue, it's orange, it's pink, it's purple, it's rain, it's fire. And we become so consumed in that we tend to forget the world around us. We lose our unity. We quite literally lose our kindness. I think a lot of people lose their authenticity to kindness very unintentionally when they start to speak too loudly on a topic that's fed to them. And it just kind of turns the rat wheel and creates more hate and more controversy and aggression in our world. And I really feel that if we took a moment to step away from all that's fed to us and just focus on ourselves and our lives, our perspectives would broaden. Our hearts would open, and I think our love would flow a lot easier than what it does when we're sitting here, staring at a screen, listening to this message and reading that title and really panicking.
Yeah, because we're inundated with information constantly, either Facebook or some type of social media or just regular media, printed media. It's out there, and I know that it's been kind of crazy. I actually, kind of by accident, found some of my old videos on Instagram, what I was doing the last year about this time. And I found this one video where I was working out. I was doing the workouts, trying to get back in shape and stuff. And I mean, I didn't realize that I really was like almost 40 days into that workout. I didn't even realize that I had really put that much time into it. Then I found one video and I shared it with one of my friends that was about, it was in February where I was in the hospital. I don't know if you remember, I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital and I was like, man, I felt crappy and my heart and everything just felt like, I felt like it was a car breaking down real quick. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, and then a month later, of course, we find out it was all this stuff. But I remember, and I'm telling the story because, we don't know if we contracted something, didn't know if I was sick. It was just bizarro world, because I've been working out, doing good, and all of a sudden, boom, it's just like I took myself to the hospital, which I would never do in a million years. Listen, it was an emergency. And so it's like I reflect back and I'm looking back at all these things, just kind of go back and you see a different version of yourself. And so, and I thought it was really fascinating though. And I don't know, in where we were all at the beginning of last year before the virus started, we were all on track to do certain things. You know, we were planning to change the world.
Yeah.
It was the 2020 vision. It was the thing that we were gonna make this the best year ever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we got a roadblock of sorts. And you know, some of us made it through it, and some of us didn't. I lost family members and friends, but here we are.
Yeah,
here we are.
You know, and it's in saying that, and here we are. I had this really like this pivotal moment when, you know, when the clock struck 12 and we were in 2021, and I just kind of stopped. We always, you know, keep the door open and we run our smudge out the door, take everything out. And we all ran outside, and I looked at my kids and their friends, and I was like, we survived. Yeah. And it hit my heart. And when I said we survived, I mean, I felt like I was in a movie or something, because it was just so, it was awakening almost to the reality of what we really went through in 2020.
Yeah. It did feel like a movie, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was really surreal. It was just like we were in this, it almost didn't feel real to some degree.
Yeah.
It just felt like we were, you ever see the movie Wag the Dog?
No.
It's a story about, you know, real brief, you know, it's a political story about presidential candidates and different things. And they create this fictitious thing, and all of a sudden it's not real. And so it's kind of like that. So for a moment there, when it first started, I thought it wasn't real. I thought it was just like some really bad misinformation that was just getting out. But you know, we made the best of it. You know, my son was in lockdown with us for the beginning of the season, and it was just, it was interesting because he had to stay away from his little kids for a while until he said, well, you know, forget this. I'm done with this. Yeah. And I'll be honest. I was one of those first people in the beginning who was just kind of going, hey, this, we're going to die from something. And I'm not going to buy into all this stuff. I was really like that. I'm still kind of like that to some degree, you know, I'm still kind of like that. I wear my mask out maybe, but I won't wear it at home. It's not because I'm being defiant. It's just because I don't feel like I need to wear it at home. You know, I don't feel I need to be into that fear factor. Yeah. It was affecting my mental health. Honestly, truthfully, I don't know about you or your family or, you know, but there was a point where you just like, you start to process all this information that was never there before. Like, you know? Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And it does do something to your mind. And that was my biggest thing with my kids. I was like, you're not looking at numbers anymore. You're not reading any of this, because I did see with them, you know, they'll read their news, they'll read certain things or hear things from friends. And I could see it like eating away at, you know, my girls, and you could just see this kind of blank look in their eyes. And it was just this depression. And I'm like, oh no, you know, we got to pull out of this, and we have to try to figure it out. But, you know, but I'm with you. I was in the beginning of this, I was like, I was thinking more of swine flu. I was like, oh, I feel like this is a repeat of swine flu, and everybody was scared, but we made it through it, and, you know, we'll be fine. And we lived our life up until we celebrated Holi with our Nepali family. And I feel like the next day we were shut down and weren't allowed to do anything. And I was like, how do we go from throwing colored powder in our faces to this? Like, I don't understand it, you know?
And you have little kids too, little ones, I mean, small ones. So it's like, you know, everything I'm sure crosses your mind very quickly and very fast.
Yeah. And there was a lot to really think about, a lot to wonder. I'm a pro-germ parent, you know, and I believe in exposure, and it's, you know, we don't deal with illness in my home very often at all. And I feel like I may have taken a selfish approach to that in the beginning, because I'm like, you know, we're going to be okay. We know how to wash our hands. We know the basics, you know, with hygiene, and we just got to be a little bit extra, you know, a little bit more cautious. And so, we didn't wear masks until they told us we had to wear masks, you know, and for me, a lot of people said things, but I didn't understand taking my baby in the store and my infant not having one, but all of us,
Right.
And
Right.
with the best of intentions, though. And then once they mandated it, we wear our mask everywhere we go, and
Right.
go to the park, go to the store, but I definitely don't do it at home. And I try to be really careful with it because I don't want to induce too much fear and panic into my children, at
Right.
all. So
Right. I know now the Mississippi and Texas have you can take your masks off now. You go mask free now, and you don't have to
yeah,
use 6 feet of separation. So, I think what's happening, I think human beings have this innate nature to, number one, we don't like to be controlled to some
no,
degree. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Number two, we have this sense of that we can conquer things, that we can outdo things, and I think that's kind of why we've made it as far as we have too.
yeah,
Being able to defy the odds and stuff. And my biggest philosophies are, and theories are that Mother Nature also has a natural selection process of things, and unfortunately, some of the people who we lose are family members and friends, but some of us continue to carry on and tell the stories, and unfortunately, that's how it is. And this isn't the first time that this happened. This happens all through history. It has happened.
yeah,
So, as I was telling my friends, as our brains get bigger and we get smarter, we start to challenge Mother Nature to some degree. We can beat you, we can kill the germs, but part of us is the virus. We are part virus too. We are part germ, we are part bacteria, we are part fungus, and a lot of people forget about that. And so here we are, we're manifesting and creating, and we don't know all the answers, we don't know how it all really comes together, but it does.
Right.
It does.
It does. Indeed it does. And yeah, and this is the same story over. They say history repeats itself, and and that's really what's happening. But and again, but it is, like you said, it's human nature to defy the odds and to be rebellious. And I see that in my 1-year-olds. I see that kind of I see her do little things at night, and it's literally her figuring out that she has power and trying to use it and see how far, to see how far she can take it. And, you tell a child to go left, they go right, because it's curiosity, it's human nature. It's why we are where we are, because at some point somebody said, don't do that. And somebody crossed that water,
That's true. Or someone ate that fruit or ate that plant.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Tony ain't coming back tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes.
We learn. That's how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, humans are just that way. We're curious.
Yeah, we are. And it's a greatest point of discovery. And I feel it's a point that is really kind of hard to argue. We wouldn't know anything without experience, cause and effect. If people don't step out and start doing things and living life, then we're never going to know exactly how this is going to work in the future and how we're going to get through this in the future. We just have to trust ourselves. And I think that it goes down to when we say, like, what's next, because it's Texas. I know Arizona, I think Indiana has done, quite a few states have lifted the mask mandates, and, follow your heart and follow your intuition, do what you feel is best for yourself and for the collective. And, and really, I feel that that's probably the best way to look at it. I don't judge anybody who is wearing a mask inside their living room, just like I don't would judge anybody if I walk into Kroger and see, 3 people without a mask on, because I'm doing my thing.
Yeah. You can't be that way, right? Because, everybody has their own belief systems about things and their feelings about things. And as long as it's not forced on you, you're okay. And so that's where I'm at. So as long as you don't force it on me, we're good.
Yeah.
If you start like muscling me and start harassing me, you're going to see a different side of Iggy that you probably never really knew was there.
Yeah. I agree. That's my just my foundation to living is, do what you want, believe what you want. And I'm so for that, and everybody's own, independence to just simply be, but don't hold the spoon and shove it down my throat.
Yeah. That's, I think that's why we're getting to that. We're at that point right now where a lot of things can go one way or the other. And I'm hoping that it doesn't go to the bad side of whatever of that.
Yeah.
Because humans have a tendency to be very violent if pushed
Mm-hmm.
into a certain kind of a feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we also have the capacity to be very peaceful and very loving and caring too. And for some reason, sometimes that's harder to do than to be angry.
Yeah.
It's easier to be mad. Yeah, get away from me.
Yeah.
Than to say, hey, hey, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
I just, that's just an observation of mine. But yeah, so I'm hoping that we move closer to, and I don't want to use the word normal because I don't know what normal is. I don't.
Yeah.
The new normal. I got so fed up with that term.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
I was just like, what new normal?
yeah.
Normal is normal, whatever you make normal to be, it's like the only thing that I ran into was just having to adjust how I lived, how I shared my message,
Mm-hmm.
with so much, it's like a bad comedian telling bad COVID jokes now,
Yeah.
you can tell them like maybe 3-4 years from now, Kevin Hart learned the hard way that you can't, COVID jokes are too early to tell.
Too early. Too soon.
It's too soon. It's like, it's the same way, I'm here, I'm teaching, I teach shamanism, I teach, motivational stuff, inspirational
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So what do you tell somebody when they're in this fearful place, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure that you've run into those situations with people. What did you do? How did you help people get through this stuff?
And it is interesting that you say that because I did love using social media as a base to my platform and my advocacy. As time went on, I did kind of step away from doing the scheduled live videos because it really wasn't helping people.
Yeah.
That you can try to be as positive and uplifting as you want, but when somebody is stuck in their own mind in this place of isolation, I don't know what that feels like. So I can't help you because I'm not alone, So for me, I've taken the approach to just be more watchful of people, look at how they're posting and look at how, and checking in and, hey, are you okay? Being that, I don't know. I feel that, and not in like an ego way, but for me, a lot of people just naturally kind of gravitate to me to say, hey, I need help. And so I've just taken, again, like this position to working with people the very second they say, I need help. There's no second guessing it. Here's my phone number. Here's my address. Like, well, what do you need? And how can we get you through this kind of situation? So just a lot of just, communication, checking up on people. And then, and in that, I think the most important thing was checking up on myself and just constantly, making sure that I was reminded to tap into myself and ask, hey, are you okay, Danielle? And because I feel that we have to make sure if we're going to help people that we ourselves are in a good place and that we are caring for ourselves so that we're able to provide the best care to others.
Absolutely. I agree with you, what you're saying, because also when it started to get into that space where it was really like uncertainty, I actually stopped doing shows for a little bit. I had to sit back and go, man, I can't really talk about the things that I usually talk about because it's, it's really, we're kind of in a dark place. How do we, I'm in a weird place,
Yeah.
I'm in a place where I have to redefine the work that I'm doing. Drumming for me, that was a big part of my income. It went zero.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, what do we do here? Part of my, being a speaker too, going to places and talking and sharing my drum and my medicine, it went away. And, everybody's like, just do Zoom. Well, it's not that I didn't know how to do Zoom. It's just like, it's not the same feel. It's not the same energy. It's not the same connection. I tried it. It worked. It didn't work. It worked, but
yeah.
So I know I know what you mean when we had to like step back a little bit, and I stepped back, and now I'm kind of like gearing up and moving into the energy. The universe is kind of pushing me. I don't know how you feel, but I feel that the universe is saying, "Hey, Ignacio, you got to get to work. It's time to get to work, Ignacio." And I'm like, and I have not heard that word Ignacio for a long time because that's short for Iggy. Because Iggy's been the main front runner of everything that I do, and so but when I hear that voice in my head, Ignacio, come on, let's go. That's my ancestors talking to me.
Yep. It's funny that you say that because I was just talking to somebody the other day and I was like, I really feel this big push from my guides and my ancestors because Danielle is just redundant in my head. And for me, I'm Dani, it's just, my dad calls me Danielle. I can count on one hand how many people call me Danielle. And, but Danielle, it's like, and it's really just, I mean, just really strange that you say, not strange, but just amazing, because I have felt that. Yeah, there you go. And, because I felt that push of like, Danielle, move, you need to move, you need to get going. You need to start doing things. You know, and for my business, for Iris and Oak, we did nothing last year. We did nothing but hold our breath and hope to get our vendor fees back at different times of the year, you know, and, you know, but now it's really pushing to move, and I feel a push to do something. And I'm just really trying to tap into the ancestors and be like, what exactly do I need to do? Because if you could be a little, you know, a little more clear here, not have me figure it out and play guessing games right now.
And the ancestors will answer your, you know, they'll answer you.
Absolutely.
When you're clear and you meditate. I always light my candle before the show just to kind of give thanks to them, just for the hard work that they laid, you know, the foundation they created, knowing or unknowing, because as every generation progresses, they really don't know what they're doing to some degree. You know, we were going through the motions and the steps, and, you know, maybe what I'm doing helps or doesn't help. I don't know, but whatever they did helped me get to this place where I'm at and create this version of, you know, their lineage. So to some degree. And so I'm just like, wow, this is like really powerful. So I hear these voices in my head and I'm going, okay, first thing I heard was, we need to get you back in shape. Okay. Number 2, we need to get you back. You need to cut away from meat for a little bit. So I've been on this meatless. I haven't been any meat.
How's that been going?
Actually, it's been going pretty good. It's actually pretty interesting. You know, it's kind of, I like kind of challenges anyhow. I'm kind of one of those people who likes challenges, and it gives me a reason to make videos and stuff and share my and to inspire other people. It's actually been going pretty good. I've not had any meat. I've been tempted by other people to, we won't tell anybody, just add some. I'm like, no. It's about discipline. I have to be disciplined in doing this. And it's not because I'm trying to prove anything. It's because I also want to respect the animals for their sacrifice. I also want to respect my body, myself. I was telling my friend Kate today that the inflammation in my body feels like it's gone down a little bit. And it could be from the hormones and stuff that you're eating. I don't know, but I do feel different. I feel a little more lighter, even though I probably weigh the same, but I feel lighter, like I'm more bouncy.
That's great.
So it's been going pretty good. It's more about being creative. See, improving culture. We cook with meat and everything. We make all kinds of dishes, and everything that I have to do is like, I have to like replace that part of it. And so that's been the challenge. But other than that, some things I like, some things I don't. I ain't eating that ever again. Like, you know, so that's what you get into. But yeah, it's been fun. Like today, I had hummus today, you know, and it was really good.
Yeah, that is so great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So what are the other messages that your ancestors are pushing?
Well, the biggest thing for me is to create community again, to create community with people. Don't force it, just do it naturally. Reconnect with your shows. Like I used to do my shows like religiously before you knew me. And I mean, I have another company called With Insights Radio, and they have tons of shows that I did with that organization. And so that was the message, like, hey, we need to get you reconnected. We need to get everybody connected. We need everybody to, it's just like, I hear this, you know, ask people if they want to do the show. So I've lined up some really big name people too, which is cool. And I was like, and I was afraid. I was like, why am I afraid? I've never been afraid, you know? So I just reached out and I said, hey, would you be interested in doing a show? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, okay,
that's so great.
That was easy. So I have some really big names. I'm not going to really reveal them quite yet, but because we're finishing up on some things. So it's really cool to see the progression and, you know, to have 132 shows just on this platform that I'm doing on Iggy Garcia is a big accomplishment for me personally. And it's been one of my goals and dreams. And that's what the ancestors said. Just, we need to reconnect everybody. Everybody's disconnected. Everybody is kind of in their own little pods and they're really searching but they need players to connect, you know, like yourself, like myself, other people. We're the in between, you know, we're the ones that bring them all back into the space. Yeah. And as you do it, others will do it. So it's a progression. And so those are the messages that I've been receiving. I don't know what kind of messages have you been receiving?
That is one of the biggest ones was to get back into doing my thing, to be me. And I think I struggled to really figure out what that really meant. But what it means is just to be out there and to bring people together to heal and just to bring a light to the community, and whether that means making long-term relationships or passing that light and moving on quickly, whatever it is just to be there and just to kind of uplift and uproot. It really feels like it just feels like, all these seeds were kind of in germination, and now we really need to just let them grow. And that's what I feel like, bringing the plants to the surface, to the earth, and bring them to the sun. And then that's really what I see. And that's what I feel deep, deep, deep in my heart. And it's big. And I think I know that it's going to be powerful, and it's exactly what our world and our community need. They need people like us to bring them back together, to, lift their energies, because people not everybody can manage through these shifts exactly. on their own. And these shifts are very, very hard. And it's March, we're going into the equinox, we're going to have the supermoon. We have a lot. And so being there for others, and offering our knowledge and our heart, is really going to help a lot of people. It'll help our world.
Yeah. One of the biggest messages I got was to drum again.
Yeah.
I didn't want to drum because I didn't want to put people in a position where they felt uncomfortable or we had some drummings last year. You came to come up with a couple of them.
Yeah.
And, but there was always this feeling, like, are we doing the right thing? I mean, at least for me. And then someone called me out on it, and we didn't have our masks on. It became a fiasco. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, we're just going to cut it from this point, and then we'll let spirit guide us from there. So, but spirit's right now is like, just, you got to go. You've been sitting around too long. Get a little fat there,
Get moving.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on in my world. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That is great. And it'll be exciting to see drumming come back. I know the last circle we went to, we brought a couple of friends with us, and I had this weird sense of guilt of like, should we actually do this? Because, here I am, and I'm bringing this train of little people. And, I sat there thinking like, okay, you guys stay over here on the yoga mats. Don't leave the yoga mats. Don't get too close to people because you might upset somebody. And, it felt so, rejuvenating to be there. It you felt life again, but there was that energy, that weird air that was kind of there. And I was like, man, this isn't it. I don't know if we can do this again, because I didn't want to offend anybody, but, I know that the drumming is definitely, something that helps a lot of people. And it will be absolutely beautiful to watch you bring that back to the community.
Yeah. I appreciate that. It helps me too. Like it really helps my spirit, my physicality, everything. It just brings, just tunes me up like a, like a light bulb. But I'm happy for that. So, but I think that people right now are they're kind of like the groundhog right now. Yeah. They're kind of just going, is my shadow there? Yeah. Kind of like, I don't see it. Because I was kind of like that too for a little bit. And I was telling one of my friends, I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't. You probably heard a couple shows in the past. I was like, I can't do this. I can't live in this fear. I can't live in this energy that somebody else is creating for me. And right or wrong, I could go down the street and get run over, by a car, whatever. Knock on wood. We don't want that. But it's like, at what point am I going to stop? Why am I going to stop? Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I was stopping. I was not being myself. Yeah. I was being this other version of, I don't know who that guy was. Yeah. I didn't like that guy.
Yeah. I think I was that woman for a second. There was just this big shift happened, and all of a sudden I was like this hermit, and I'm like, okay, guys, we are not going to do hybrid school, and we're staying here, and we're just going to stay here because this is scary. And my son looked at me, he goes, Mama, you can't be scared. You're never scared. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You're right. It's one of those things. And he has a beautiful way of, embracing and lifting it up and, and bringing the message into play. And he told me, he was like, this is not what we were supposed to do. This is not what we're intended to do. Like, we are stardust. And if stardust needs to go do something else, stardust will go and do something else. And I'm like, oh, you know what, awesome. Gavin, you're right, buddy. And that's exactly where it is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was magnificent. It really was. And that, it snapped me out of it. And I still look back and I thought to myself, I was like, man, like, I'm just going to look like the crazy woman with all the kids. Cause everybody's gonna be like, who is she? Cause she was here and now she's here and now she's there,
that's
and I'm
funny.
Like, I don't know really how to explain.
The crazy woman with all the kids.
I try to be, I feel like I tried to be normal. That's what it was. I tried to be normal. And I decided that I like being weird,
Yeah, weird's good.
So yeah. But yeah, I think, and I got a text message from my aunt, and my great aunt, she's in her 80s, and she's like, what do you think about getting together in April? Because we just want to see everybody. And, and she wouldn't even, we've seen her one time and she wouldn't get out of her car. It was just, it was high in the parking lot and left. She's been terrified. And so, for her to say, hey, let's plan something for March or for April, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, oh, wait, there it is. There's the light. Here we go, and but it is much like that, playing groundhog thing. And, and for my kids, I give my kids choice. You do what you want to do. So I have a couple kids who stay at home on the computer, and I have 3 kids who go half of a week, to school in person. And now they're going to be starting in full time. And these kids are just like so excited. They're like, give me the teachers, give me the chaos, the homework. I want it all, and it's really interesting to see how much has changed and how much people are really just setting down their restrictions and say, we just got to get back to life,
Yeah. That's funny. We've come from don't touch your face to, wash your hands to no one ever talks about that anymore.
There were like videos about how to wash your hands all over the place.
I hope one day we can come back and laugh at it, because I want to look back on this event as a very changing and challenging and also very awakening moment. It's like this could be an awakening. Like I called it the Renaissance of sorts.
Yeah. Where
we were painting, we were creating and doing kind of things in the background that no one really truly knows what we were doing. Yeah. I know I painted a whole bunch of stuff, I have a whole collection of things that, I probably would never have done if I was, just kind of going about my day like I usually do. And so I found there was some good things about it too. Not all of it was bad and negative as I'm making it sound a little bit, but I found some outlets, to do things.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that even like I'm stuttering. One of the more important things that I had shared with my children and some friends was to really reflect on what you did when the doors were closed and how you felt, and tap into that curiosity and tap into that creativity, because that was, I feel like, a little bit of everybody that was hiding really kind of came to surface and came to play. And, so if it was painting or making bracelets or writing stories or singing or picking up an instrument, keep that going and don't let that die out, because it's a really big part of you that was probably waiting to come out.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that's a big part. So what do you see for the future for the humanity? What's your vision? What's your...
My vision for humanity? We're going to do what we always do. In 5 years from now, we'll look back like this never happened, and you'll get some people who are kind of sad about it, but we'll return to taking things for granted again. And I think honestly, and that's it, and give it, a considerable amount of time, this will happen again and again and again, because we become too absorbed in selfishness and opinions and power. an ego. And so in 5 years, we'll get back to that, and we'll all be outside, and our kids will be, running with snot on their nose on the playgrounds. We'll lose a lot of what we gained through this time, unfortunately. But I think we'll carry a bit of a weight. There'll be a little bit of weight and some guilt. I think that fear will carry along with people for years to come. And I also see in that there's the other side of new tradition, carrying on those new things where, I'll grow to be 80 and say, hey, this is what we did during quarantine, and this is how we made it, and this is how we, and so we're I think, in a way, we'll also be cultivating new tradition, the new ways of living.
Right.
I also feel that we will have a bit of a different way in living. People are not going to go back to an office. A lot of people are not going to go back to an office.
Good point.
A lot of people are going to find a lot of simplicity. They'll be more awakened to corporate greed, and all the nonsense that we spent our time doing before all this, and racing and road rage and stuff at 8 o'clock in the morning on 270. I think a lot of people will fight against that, and we will see a big change in these big offices and people doing the 9 to 5s outside their homes.
So what about children? How do you see children coming out of this pandemic, out of this situation?
That's the part that breaks my heart. Because it's going to be very difficult for kids. I think we're going to, this is a time for parents to really kind of be patient with our children and really speak to them. I feel that there's going to be an onset of depression. We're going to have big triggers and a lot of miscommunication between parent, feelings with kids, and parents not understanding how their kids are feeling or what they're going through. But there is going to have to be a recovery process for children, because when the world opens back up and, we step into life again, these children are not going to be able to do that. It's going to be shocking. It's going to be scary. It's going to be overwhelming. We're also going to look at it at school and education with grace, because the kids are not receiving grace with that at all. And so as parents, I would strongly suggest that we set down our expectations for those A's and B's and those honor rolls, and just say, try your best. And I say, even that, I was speaking to my daughter's teacher earlier, and she said that they had this mortifying moment where they realized that most of the 5th grade had no idea what place value was. Wow. And she just could not believe that they're going to have to revisit that again, where they missed it, how they missed it, but they missed it. And that's one of the, I think that's just a subtle, metaphoric example. There's a lot of things that kids missed in all of this, and we didn't realize it. So it's going to be hard for them. Yeah, the adjusting period is going to be very different, because kids learn differently, and kids grieve differently. They absorb information differently. I mean, we were all kids once, but we can remember to some degree what that was like. But kids can really suffer, a lot, and not even really, you don't even know. Yeah. Because sometimes kids don't share things because it's too painful. And so here we are. We have all these. I work with middle schoolers. I coach soccer for about 20 years in a middle school, and so you see. I remember when we were coaching, we had to wear a mask, and in the concern and in the school, and it was really hard. The kids, I would talk to them, and they'd be like, "So what are you guys doing?" "Oh, nothing." It's like they were bored out of their minds. Honestly, truthfully, you can only play so many video games, or do whatever you do. There's something about communicating and being with other people, your peers, and learning from each other, getting in trouble. Yeah. There's something about, just doing that. It's like being part of a club, almost. And so I hope that the children are able to adapt to some degree and readjust themselves. And you're right. Parents and adults and administrators have to be patient with kids, because we really don't know what this has affected. How has it affected everybody? We don't know. I mean, suicide rates were up
from my understanding, it's just been a really difficult, challenging time for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. It really has. I think, the mental toll is devastating. And I've had people get upset with me because we have play dates. We still spend time with friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that it's not against better judgment. It is my best judgment for my children, for their friends, to have that face-to-face relationship. And, because I look at, mental health can sometimes be forever. And
you got that.
And this is something that we really have to consider. If we look at even through the state of Ohio and various other states, what they define as, child abuse and isolation is on that. And it's on that for a reason, because it does do something to the mind and to development. I can tell you that my 1-year-old, she is completely different, raising her than the other 5 children. Nothing about her is anything like the other. She's terrified of people. And that breaks my heart. She doesn't know how to, she'll wave, but there's no excitement in seeing Nana, or Papa. And that's sad, because I've never seen that with any of my babies. And so, there's going to be a big adjustment period for the brains, for the minds. And we're going to have to hope that we nurture the coming out time enough that we can find good processing, and we can help those serotonin levels and get those endorphins flowing again in a healthy way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I think it's going to be unconventional things that need to help kids come out of their shell a little bit. And I hope that parents are open-minded to experiment and try things that are different, like drumming, for example. Take your kid to a drum circle if you've never been to one,
Absolutely.
do something, that you've never done, because the old things that we probably were used to doing before may not be the key anymore.
Yeah.
The isolation is very detrimental, and it's one of the things that could, like you said, can really affect someone's psyche in their mind. And, everything begins here and translates out to the body, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And, that's what I'm hoping, that we don't run into too many obstacles with kids. And I hope that, the sunshine coming in the sky in the morning, looks good. And, just the outlook for the future is positive. And, because everything was stripped away from us, and then, I don't know, I'm kind of like, was it the right thing to do? Not the right thing? I don't know. We'll never know. Right.
Right.
In the end, we will really never know. We didn't have 4th of July. We didn't have this celebration. We didn't have this huge drum circle. We were totally, it was like being on Mars, like those robots, at times it felt like that, that we were just the only people in our little camp, and there was no one else.
Yeah, I did feel that way. And I remember even like, the 4th of July, I was like, there's no way we can just sit in our house, because, it's an exciting time for my kids. Kids love fireworks. And, and I was like, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the forest and we're going to go camping, and we'll give purpose to being alone, and, that kind of solitary seclusion almost. And hanging out in the woods. But it's going to be, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how people react, because I feel like we're going to have this kind of like this push and this pull when we get back to those normal activities, because you're going to have these people who are like, here we are, and we're going to have these other people who were like, what are you doing? And they're all going to be at the same place,
I can see that already.
So
it's gonna be like West Side Story.
Unmasked,
unmaskers. Hey, well, you got the mask, man.
And I see that happening, but we just really, I think it's very important for us to all just give a little grace, and tap into our heart space. And this is going to be the most important time. If there was ever an important time to be open-minded, like now is it, and give everybody a little bit of grace. And I've even said, to my, back of my children, I've noticed that even like friendships they have in school, there's a lot more hostility there. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why are you guys arguing? This never happened before. And then I realized though, like, these kids haven't been around anybody. They haven't been around. They've just been in their homes, and so I keep encouraging my kids to be like, take it with a grain of salt and know that sometimes people have feelings too. And even though it hurt your feeling, they were hurting inside. So just, forgive and keep going with it and give your friends some love and grace and forget about it, but it is really interesting to see how much kind of like nagging, bickering conflict there is. Yeah.
And friendships have shifted and changed too since this lockdown. I know that, in my own story is that in that way.
Yeah.
I'm sure for you and others they've all experienced something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Friendships have definitely evolved, I think, in everybody's lives. And if that evolution hasn't touched your life, then, good for you. Share your secret. But, it has changed a lot.
So on your website, what can we get on your website that would help us to relax, to meditate? What would you recommend, suggest something we get?
So on my website right now, I'm kind of going through a transitional period right now. I always say, the best things to start with are good bars of soap. And this one here is Pretty Little Hippie. I brought him over with me, but this was everybody's favorite. So a good bar of soap goes a really long way. They smell great, good plant medicine in there. Nice. And then I do offer the body butters and the salves, which are just going to be especially great for summertime. And then coming up soon, tinctures and teas are going to be coming back. But I only do that with, plant medicine from my garden. It's hard to responsibly source certain herbs. You don't really know what you're getting, and I don't want people drinking Roundup.
Yeah, that's true.
So so that'll be coming in the next couple of months. We'll be rolling out some good teas for relaxation. Nice. And then we will also be running meditation classes, just meditation group. And it's really a by donation thing. There's no expectation for, it's not pay $50 and come meditate with me. It's come hang out, come join us and let's meditate and learn something new and ground ourselves, So those are our big things. I think on the website, as far as relaxation, would definitely be the teas and the meditation.
Because people probably want something like that, because right now everybody's going to be searching. They're going to be searching for new outlets and new directions, new avenues of things that maybe they didn't before.
Yes. And that's, and you know what, and I don't even know why it didn't even come to my mind, Cbd products. Cbd products are offered on my website, and we're going to be expanding that into the teas and the coffees. That is really wonderful. I think, for relaxation. It doesn't give you any, crazy wild side effects or anything like that. It's just CBD. And it's so great for your body. It's great for when you have anxiety, when you're overwhelmed, to just sip on some CBD tea or coffee. Nice. I've had a fractured spine for almost 2 months, and that's what I've been using. I haven't taken a single, not even ibuprofen, but it really does help. And when you relax your mind, it is amazing what happens to the rest of your body. Sure. You'll find too, through all this, once we come out of COVID, you will find where you might have more aches and pains and stiff joints and inflammation, headaches, sore throats, earaches, stuff like that. Those types of symptoms. And we look in Ayurvedics and looking at Ayurvedics, a lot of that, it all starts, like you said, in the mind. And so you got to just really watch a big sign. I thought, I think it's really, I always think it's so interesting when you start craving, like, some people just get like this really spontaneous craving for a cold Coke. And that's first, that's your first sign that, hey, we have some healing to do. Yeah. And so really relaxing your mind, and centering and grounding yourself, whether you're using meditation or CBD, tea or, tincture, body butter, whatever, relaxing your mind, calming your mind and your spirit will alleviate aches and pains and stiff joints. It'll help with that inflammation. it'll help with your headaches and your earaches. And all of that I'll be rolling out on the website quite soon too, where you can get in there and you can look and you can find the correlations between like, you know, your knee pain and, you know, your stressors in your life.
I saw that oatmeal bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like you could eat it.
Yeah. I've actually, I was at a festival one time and I had to tell a guy he could not eat this.
It looked good. I was like,
yeah.
Tell me where my mind was.
That oatmeal bar, I love that one because there is no essential oil in it. Some people are very like migraine sensitive. Okay. Like my grandma's that way. She actually, I was going to call that bar grandma. But that bar is for people who are migraine sensitive or has certain, you know, skin sensitivities in it. Okay. So, you know, if you can't have the essential oil and the fun herbs, you can still have good, you know, healing clays like the Dead Sea clay and the bentonite clays and salts and the oats. And it's so good for your skin. And there's something about washing yourself. And it's like if you were to think of smudging and, you know, you're cleansing your body with these products, and that's kind of incorporated, and I just don't say it out loud, but you know, the intention is in there, you know, to really just kind of cleanse yourself on the surface, and we start on the out and we kind of dive inside, you know.
Awesome.
So
any closing thoughts, anything that you want to leave with our listeners? We're winding down here pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, I thank you. Yeah. I thank you for inviting me here. It is good to be here.
It's good to be here.
Good to be here. And, you know, I think my closing line for everybody is always to find joy in every single day and never allow anything to be bigger or better than your happiness. The life's too darn short and it's too good.
Awesome. So. Dani, I want to thank you for being on the show with me tonight. I know that we may have missed things we needed to talk about, but I think the universe took us in the direction we needed to go.
Absolutely.
And we'll have you back on when we get further down the year and see how things are coming and progressing. I'm looking forward to seeing your beehive activity happen. I was really following that last year because I was thinking about getting a beehive too. And then I realized, well, that's a lot of work.
It's not that bad. Okay. I promise.
And so I was like, my neighbors will be like, "Oh, you got bees in the yard." But you know, that really intrigued me because that's something that I've always wanted to do.
It is very rewarding, and I'll PM you some information because it's not as hard as you think. So, but yeah, I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see where you take your podcasts, and I look forward to joining you in the future.
Yeah, so I'll reveal one of my guests that we'll be having here in the near future. Her name is Tanya, the herbalist. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
I have.
She will be here on the 26th at 7:30 p.m. She's going to be one of my guests. She's very, very, you know, she believes what she believes.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing her take on things because in our community, it's very mixed, you know, in the community. So it's going to be a very big challenging moment for a lot of people when they hear what she has to share. So.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
I'm excited for that show too. So
that's wonderful. All right. Well, Iggy, you have a beautiful night. And again, thank you
Dani.
So very much for having me.
Thank you very much. And we'll keep in contact and we'll talk some more.
All right. Take care.
Night. All right, everybody. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Amazing show. Dani did amazing, sharing her thoughts, sharing her feelings, her emotions, and talking about the things that we needed to talk about. And so with that, I'm just like, I'm blessed to have the friends that I have and the people that I'm connected with in community because they bring to my life so much amazing things. They bring such amazing energy, love, community, soap, drums. Everybody just brings everything to the table. And that's kind of what we do. And that's what my message and my story is about, is sharing with people. So a lot of you don't know, but I'm going to be working on a project, a documentary about spontaneous healing, what that is and where it comes from and how it happens and why it happened. Is it real? Is it true? So right now we're in this COVID crisis. And so there's going to be tons of stories of people who healed miraculously. And there's going to be stories of people who did not. But, you know, in the universe, in an ever expanding universe, there's always something happening, always something, you know, that we have to see or haven't seen or we're missing. And we're really to learn and to explore. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. So if you want to be on the show with me and share your thoughts and share your business, share your ideas, get a hold of me. We'll put you on. We'll interview you, and we'll talk, and we'll share thoughts, and we'll converse. And you know what? You don't have to be in the holistic and the metaphysical. You can be anybody. This is what we do here on With Insights Radio, Iggy Garcia Live. We share the human aspect, the human nature, the human spirit. We share the thing that is unique to all of us. And the uniqueness of us is the things and the gifts that are endowed to us by spirit. And so everybody has something to share. Everybody has something to give. Everybody, is just that magical speck in the universe. A small speck we are, but a powerful speck, we just expand and explode. Never forget that we are the primordial soup of the universe. We are all my relations. We are all connected, from the virus to the furthest galaxy in the universe, and to the beginning point to the end point. We are all of that. And with that, friends, I want to say thank you very much. It's good to be here. Thank you. Ho'oponopono, matakuyasin, namaste. What is above is below. And with that, I want to say aho, and I will see you guys next time on Iggy Garcia Live. Okay, and we'll see you. Peace and love, guys.